Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping straight into a truly fascinating archetype known as the Chief of the Tabernacle. Now, to really grasp this concept, which is all about structure, order, and inner discipline, we're going to use a pretty powerful metaphor. Throughout this explainer, I want you to imagine you are building a physical, monumental temple. Every single concept we cover today represents an absolutely vital phase in constructing a structurally sound, completely unshakable life. So right off the bat, ask yourself this totally honest question. Is your life a structured temple, or is it kind of looking like a chaotic ruin right now? It's a striking image, isn't it? If your day-to-day feels like scattered effort and constant confusion, you're essentially living in a ruin. But a temple? Well, a temple is built with serious intention, precise direction, and absolute clarity. And that's exactly where the Chief of the Tabernacle comes in. Think of this figure as the ultimate archetype of order, our master architect for today's structural build. The whole idea here is that true strength comes from structure, and this master architect builds lasting stability using clarity and inner discipline. We aren't talking about accidental success here. This is about intentional, masterful design. Here is our literal blueprint for constructing that structurally sound life today. First, the blueprint of discipline. Second, laying a solid foundation. Third, building walls with consistency. Fourth, the mortar of flexibility. And finally, number 5, the mirror of the temple. Let's dive in. Section 1. The blueprint of discipline. Inner structure. Any master architect is going to tell you that long before you ever pour a single drop of concrete, you absolutely must finalize the blueprint. In our lives, this looks like the progressive steps of inner discipline. Step 1 is control over your thoughts. This is your drafting phase. And that leads directly into step 2, the regulation of your actions. You draft the plan, and then you execute the motion. Finally, we hit step 3, consistency in behavior. By controlling your thoughts first, you directly solidify your outward behavior. The absolute crucial takeaway here is this: order is the foundation of progress. Really let the gravity of that sink in for a second. Without establishing internal order first, any attempted progress is just going to collapse. Effort without order, it's just chaos. Section 2. Laying a solid foundation. Stability before growth. All right, so now we're moving from the abstract blueprint phase to actually breaking ground. Here are the bedrock elements you need to anchor your temple securely: clear principles, organized thinking, and structured habits. The Chief builds very carefully to ensure this foundation is absolutely rock solid. Make no mistake, without these structured habits acting as your concrete, the ground underneath you is going to remain dangerously soft. Because here's a cold, hard structural reality. Before growth, there must be stability. You literally cannot build upward, you can't expand your career, and you can't achieve massive goals until you have established total stability down below. If you rush growth without this bedrock, you compromise the entire structure. Section 3. Building walls with consistency. The bricks of action. Okay, we've got our foundation poured, and now we use our daily, disciplined actions as the literal bricks to raise our walls. Notice how time and repetition just stack on top of each other. On day 1, you've just got daily discipline. That's a single brick. By day 10, it's the repetition of positive actions, so now you've got a solid row going. But by day 100, that commitment becomes a routine. That is exactly how you turn a single day's scattered effort into a lasting monument. As you can see, consistency transforms structure into lasting results. A theoretical framework is great, sure, but consistency is the absolute magic element that turns that framework into a towering, tangible success. You have to maintain it, day in and day out. Section 4. The mortar of flexibility. Structural balance. Now here is a super crucial engineering nuance for us to consider. If you stack your bricks with mortar that is too brittle, your wall is going to crack the very first time the wind blows. Let's look at the balance. On one hand, order and structure ensures stability and maintains direction. It's highly effective. But conversely, rigidity and inflexibility limits your adaptability. It leads to cracking under pressure, making the whole thing ultimately fragile. The Chief balances order with adaptability because that flexible mortar is what prevents your walls from snapping when life inevitably throws an earthquake your way. Section 5. The mirror of the temple. External reflects inner. So now we step back and examine what the completed sanctuary actually reveals about the architect inside. Picture a disorganized space. This links directly to scattered thoughts, confusion, and total inefficiency. Contrast that with an organized space, which is the birthplace of clear thinking, hyperfocus, and consistency. Look, if your physical environment is a chaotic ruin, it is a glaring indicator that your mind is currently lacking the blueprint of discipline. Which leads us to this incredibly profound realization: external order always begins within. True external order, much like a grand, beautiful temple, is exclusively built from the inside out. Organize your mind, stabilize your habits, and your external world is going to naturally fall into a beautifully structured alignment. To wrap up our architectural build today, let's quickly review the core takeaways. Structure creates direction. Order improves efficiency. Discipline builds inner strength. Solid foundations support future growth. And consistency equals success. All of these elements interlock perfectly to create a truly unshakable life. I want to leave you with this final, provocative reflection. What small changes will build order in your temple today? What is one scattered brick that you can align right now? The path of the chief of the tabernacle is waiting for you to pick up the tools. Remember, a strong life is never accidental. Go lay your foundational bricks today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.